everything. Well, this is what you call multitasking. And sometimes we're not always good at doing everything. Paul said, I have become all things to all men, if by any means I might win some. Well, that was a very difficult job, Paul. Yes. To try to be there for everybody, to try to answer everybody's question. Because some people won't seek the Lord for themselves. And they want you to do all the seeking and all the fasting and all the praying and laying hands on because they don't want to do it themselves. So they did Paul like that. They did. This man had a terrific workmanship upon him. And so he said, I got to go over here to Macedonia because there's a call for me over there. I got to go over here to Ephesians. I got to go over here to Corinthians. More than one occasion he had to go to these. But because these people are messed up and everybody is coming and calling on Paul. Well, Paul was only one man. He tried to delegate authority to people under him. He chose him Timothy and Barnabas and Silas and Barnabas, all of these people, John Mark, they worked with him to help hold his hand. But these people, guess what, that followed him had to also be dedicated to the cause. Yes. They had to share his. He said, Timothy, one time he said, Timothy, you got a problem. He said, you're ashamed of me because I was thrown into prison. Mm-hmm. You're ashamed of me. And he had to tell him, don't be ashamed of me, Timothy, because I'm in bond, I'm in prison. The same thing going to happen to you. If you stand for God, anybody who lives God, they're going to also suffer persecution. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to be exempt. But he said, Timothy, don't be ashamed of me. And so sometimes people will get ashamed. But in the lesson today, we're going to look at an example of how God honored the man of God, David, by allowing his son to build the temple. And what he did was allow David to gather all the material. And now here they come down to the time. And we're going to see the process because to me, this is a form of worship. Yes. When you bring your sacrifice and your offering to the Lord, somebody got to offer it up. Mm-hmm. And they got to have clean hands. Yes. They got to be assigned to do that. Not anybody can do that. Yes. So Solomon has got everything. He said, when, glory to God. It said, verse chapter 5 said that, I'm just going to skip, okay? Verse 1 said, when all the work Solomon had done for the temple of the Lord was finished. I'm reading the Thompson chain, King James. When all the work Solomon had done for the temple of the Lord was finished, he brought in the things his father David had dedicated, the silver, the gold, and all the furnishing, and he placed them in the treasures of God's temple. Everything has to be in order. Then he summoned the elders of Israel, the heads of the tribe, and the chief of the Israelite family to bring up the ark of the Lord covenant from Zion. We're like building a fire. You got to be able to, you can't just go in an old coal burning stove. You can't just go in there and throw coal out there and think you're going to strike a match. Mm-hmm. You got to do some preparation. You better get those ashes out. Let me digress a little bit and give this a neat story. When I was coming up, we had to do heater. We had a coal burning heater. And that was one of the methods that we heated our house. And the wood burning stove. And my brother, my oldest brother, Clifford, because his observance of the way God did it, he knew how to do it. And because sometimes if you didn't bake the fire, what they call it at night, the fire would go out. So that means you got to start over from scratch. So Clifford knew how to build it from scratch. But I had another brother who was not so keen, and he would try to put the wood and the paper on top of the ashes and on top of the coal that was in it. And see, what's going to happen is that it's not going to be able to get in the air. And so you won't have no circulation, so it won't catch on. And so he would try that, and he wouldn't be getting the results. And it was so funny and so amusing to me to watch him because, I would be awake. And I look over there, and when he had tried to, and it would be cold in there, he would stand on top of the stove, that he supposedly had built the fire on. And that showed you how poorly constructed the fire was, and it was out of order. And since he didn't do it the right way, he didn't have any fire. And if you don't do it the right way, you got to start all over again until you get it the right way. So Solomon understood by precept and example and by knowledge of the things that he had been taught from a child of how the work of the Lord, because God laid everything out for him. He had the priests and the Levites that were given instructions on everything that was to be done in the tabernacle, the temple that was in the wilderness. And they had everything. You come into the camp, and there was the altar, the offering plate. You got to wash, and you can't go into the other room and offer the sacrifice until you first was washed. So what he did was he brought in all of the utensils. Then they brought in the ark of the Lord. All of the elders and the Levites took up the ark, and they brought up the ark in the tent of meeting, and all